I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become. Carl Jung. We feel discontent when there's a disconnect between how we're acting and who we're meant to be. And sometimes we rush through life without reflection or introspection as to whether what we do is actually fulfilling us. We may find ourselves on repeat, moving about our day unconsciously. Meanwhile, we believe our career, status, or material items define us and become attached to external sources of happiness. Do they really satisfy us, or are they forms of desire and pride that keeps us perpetually wanting more? There was a point when I owned the perfect home with my husband and kids and had a corporate job. While it seemed my life was in order on the outside, I felt empty inside and off-kilter because my soul's calling wasn't being answered. I was often looking to escape and was so dejected that I even considered driving into the center divide while commuting home from work one day. When our thoughts, emotions, or actions are out of alignment, our intuition sends us signals. The messages start out subtle, then get louder if ignored. I've experienced psychological distress, physical pains, car incidents, and even freak accidents telling me I needed to move on from places, relationships, and jobs, all of which I identified with but weren't part of my path. For instance, while married, I sprained my ankle 3 consecutive years, received abnormal diagnoses, and mysteriously fell down a flight of stairs, fracturing my tailbone. The incidents kept getting worse because I didn't heed the signs early on. Another significant lesson was a major financial setback. It taught me that external resources weren't needed to pursue my passions, but rather experiences, skills, and grit from within. While lamenting the loss, what brought me out of rock bottom was hearing a motivational speaker named Coach Kevin say that life hands us greater challenges to prepare us for a greater purpose. Those words appeared when I needed them and inspired me to rebuild from the ground up with a renewed perspective on life. One of my sisters also helped me realize that I'm strong enough to overcome this obstacle as I was contemplating not whether to give up, but how I was going to do it. Losing everything was an opportunity to align with my mission. That low point was a catalyst for change because I was trying to find the meaning as to why I was even here. I let myself cry it out for a few days and found the will to move forward. While researching how to recover the loss on Quora, I started responding to questions about depression, relationships, and fear, then received personal requests for answers. Being able to show vulnerability and relate to others in that community was absolutely healing. Through awareness of my emotions, acceptance of what is, reframing my mindset, and taking action, I was liberated. Eventually, I became stoic and let go of the situation instead of reacting when my life was seemingly devastated. That surrender was a huge turning point in my spiritual growth. The strength and resilience being developed from that incident was needed a couple months later when I lost my father. His transition taught me that life isn't measured by what or how much we have, but by the moments of laughter, love, joy, and peace we share with one another. My parents always supported my creative pursuits, so I was determined to express myself even more in honor of my dad. Writing was such a cathartic release that it became 20 pages of content, which led to this video series capturing my life experiences and lessons. That occurred a year and a half ago, and I feel like a completely different person now with a clearer sense of self. In seeking guidance through meditation, prayer, and spiritual teachings, I began to uncover my purpose, which was encountering all the shadows to heal myself and possibly help someone else in the process. In hindsight, all the hardships happened for a reason because they placed me on this path. It's important to appreciate where we've been, yet also recognize the layers that have been added to shield us from our shadows, protect us from people, or mask our maladaptive behaviors. That mask, or what Carl Jung called the persona, is what we wear for the outside world, but we integrate it to become our true self. During the transition or ego death, we may realize long-held beliefs and certain interests no longer resonate. We start to question everything and feel uneasy because we're undergoing the process of detaching from our old life. This rebirth allows us to see our existence through fresh eyes without attachment to labels or others' opinions, and thereby gain clarity on what really matters. We can then be open to new opportunities and embrace changes that line up with our values versus social conditioning. Life presents us with challenges to level up and evolve, so it's a balance between releasing control of the external environment and taking accountability for how we respond. Awakening shows us we're in the driver's seat of our life and that our outlook determines our reality. And focusing on solutions instead of hopelessness drives us forward. As a change management practitioner for 13 years, I facilitate workshops to help people travel lightly from point A to point B. I've conducted activities to reveal what may have impeded on their past journeys, what helped them advance, and what other resources could enable forward movement. I've applied this exercise to my own life. Turning inward, jot down on a sheet or sticky notes past baggage that previously held you back or weighed you down. Ideas and solutions that are relevant to the present. Helpful resources you can tap into, like personal development. Then, using this values matrix, convert your notes into constructive actions and plug them into the related cell. Notice how baggage could be chances to grow instead of obstacles. Consider how these practices can be adopted, which helps us stay aligned with our values. Thus far, I've covered how to release the past by filtering thoughts that keep us in shame and guilt, forgiving ourselves and others for apathy, grief, and anger, gathering the courage to face fears, and untethering from desire and pride. By zooming out and viewing those experiences from a broader perspective, we can connect the dots to better understand ourselves and uncover clues about our path. We can then start the next phase with a clear mind and lighter emotional load. I invite you to explore what works for you and check out the wellness application tools at elevatingelements.com. Thank you for watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, and until next time, be well.